Okay, so here is a super tasteful lick from Donny McCaslin. This is a great use of the Dorian Bebop scale, which is a scale that I don't think we've really talked about in any of our videos yet, so this will be a great way to get into it. But he's doing this over an original tune of his called Stadium Jazz, and if you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend checking it out. He takes an absolutely ridiculous solo. And in terms of what's going on in the rhythm section over his solo, there's like this F minor 11, like these hits that are going on with an F minor or F sharp minor 11 chord. But when I wrote the lick out and I, put a chord underneath it, I just did minor 6 just because I think this lick kind of really encapsulates that Dorian sound. So I just made it a minor 6 chord for a different context. But in terms of what's happening in the real song, it's an F sharp minor 11. So first we got to go over what a Dorian bebop scale is. So basically what it is it's a Dorian scale, but you put a chromatic passing tone between the flatted third and the fourth. So that means you have a flatted third, a major third, and then the 4. So in this song, we're doing it in the key of F sharp. So an F sharp Dorian bebop scale would be F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. So, doing that chromaticism between the 4 and the flatted 3 definitely gives us more of a bebop sound, hence the name of the scale. And the way that he's utilizing it in this lick is particularly unique. So we start out with just a straight Dorian sound. So D sharp, and then I with my pointer finger, then I put my ring finger on A, and then my middle finger goes to E. So intervallically right there, we're just doing 6, flat 3, flat 7. Now right here, he does something really amazing. He has this series of half steps that move through the scale, and he weaves the half steps into the Dorian bebop part of it with like some chromaticism, which works really nice. So we start with our middle finger on A on the first string. We pull off to G sharp. Then we just do the same thing on the second string. E, pull off to D sharp. And then right here, we have another half step on the third string. B, pull off to B flat. But now, right, the first two were in the scale in Dorian. Now this half step right here, like we wouldn't just land here, right, because that's the major third. So he weaves it into that chromaticism that happens within the bebop scale. So we do this half step, and then pinky goes to G sharp, and then pointer finger on A. So I love that because you look at the first two half steps, they look normal. If you look at that third one, it doesn't look like it would make sense, but then when you think of it in the context of the bebop scale, you're like, oh yeah. So I just love the way that works. And then he does a couple more of these half steps. So really that half step interval is a big theme in this line, right? So then after that, after we land on the A, then our pointer finger goes to E on the fourth string and slide down a fret to D sharp. So that's the same thing we did up here, right? And then another half step, this time B, pull off to A sharp. That's our major third, right? So now we're back into that bebop part of it. And then we land with our pinky on A on the sixth string, which is our flatted third. So I think I pull off from the B to the A sharp. Right. And I really like the way that lines up on the guitar because those half steps you can kind of get from point A to point B relatively easy just because a lot of times you're just kind of doing some modifications on those two fingers. So I really liked the way that it lined up on guitar. Kind of felt pretty unique. And like I said, that little half step thing that he's playing around with throughout the line is just such an amazing sound. It's such a really cool way of utilizing the bebop scale. So the chromaticism that he's using, he goes, that's the first one, right? So I would think of that as 2 above and 1 below the flatted third, right? The flatted third is our target note. So 2 above, 1 below. And then right here, that would just be 2 above, right? B, A sharp, and A. So a lot of times when people are doing chromaticism, they're thinking in terms of patterns like that, just taking a note that's in the scale or the arpeggio, and surrounding it with however many chromaticisms you want and then landing it. So just so much great stuff going on in this lick. Donny McCaslin is an absolute monster of a sax player. And that's it. That is our episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. And if you would like to donate to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MikeAudetteMusic or paypal.me/MikeAudetteMusic, which are both in the description. And that is our episode for this week. I will see you at the next episode. Take care.